Hey, how's it going? This is the Foundational Marketing Mini Course Video 5. My apologies to you who have been waiting for this video for a while. It's been a couple months since I've had time to sit down and make one of these, but the time has finally come for me to continue this series. Again, we're on video 5 out of 8, and the topic of this video is the website and what goes on it. You know, all about the website. Let's talk about that. There's a lot of misconceptions out there about what exactly a website is. I think part of that is because websites have been around for a long time, and in the beginning of the internet, like 20 plus years ago, a website was different than it is today. It's evolved. It's gotten a lot better in a lot of ways. It's got more focused, and it's gotten easier to use. It's got more reliable. You know, it's changed a lot. And what websites do for our businesses has changed a lot too. Back in the day, you know, my family's remodeling company was a perfect example. This wasn't that long ago. This was only about 6-7 years ago. We created a website. It was really ugly looking, but it showed what we did. It talked about who we are. Most importantly, it showed up on Google when people were searching. And we were one of the first few contractors in our area to get one of these websites. So it brought in tons of business for us. That thing probably generated close to $1 million worth of work for us. But over the years, it was less and less effective at bringing people to us because there was more and more websites online, and ours looked old and dated, and you know, it just wasn't as good as the other ones. So it didn't bring in as many customers. But there's a lot of websites that get created today that do absolute nothing for whoever owns them. Actually, the vast majority of sites get zero results. Ahrefs, don't worry who they are, but they did a test, or they did a study to see, they figured out that it was like, what is it? 99% of websites never get found on Google, something like that. The vast majority of the billions of websites out there never get any eyeballs on them. And so it's no surprise that a lot of people think that websites don't work. And so that's what we're here to talk about. You know, if you say something doesn't work, you're implying that it's supposed to be doing something. So what exactly is a website supposed to do? In the context that I'm talking about, a website for a business is supposed to probably first and foremost bring in customers. That's the number one goal. But the number two goal is to be like a representation of who you are. The internet is like a city, you know, and your website is like your storefront, and everybody has a storefront, but only a few of them are on Main Street. The rest of them are scattered all over the place where hardly anybody ever sees them. Main Street being the first page of Google. So if your website looks good and it shows up on the first page of Google, that's like having a really great looking storefront that's on Main Street. So what does a website do? We just talked about that. But who is it for? A lot of people think, oh, you know, my website's about me. It's about my business. And in my opinion, you would be wrong. Your business or your website is not about you. It's about your customers. If your website only talks about you and what you want and what you care about, it's probably not going to be very effective, because the people visiting your website really don't care what you want. They only care what they want. What's in it for me? That's what people are always wondering. So that's what your website needs to be really clear on. What is in it for the person visiting? Why are they even looking at it? When you're designing a site, or when I'm designing a site, these are the things I'm thinking about. Who do we want to visit this website? Why are they visiting it? What are they looking for? What would they like to do once they find what they're looking for? That's what guides this process. So let's take a look at a website that I know for a fact is getting tremendous results. We launched this site about 3 months ago, maybe 4 months. Time is flying. It's really crazy. Let's just call it 3 months. We launched this site 3 months ago, and the owner texted me, we talked on a Zoom call one day, and he told me that he submitted 69 estimates in 22 days right after we launched this new site. And all of these leads came through his website. That's pretty tremendous. He wasn't investing in advertising, nothing like that. So you can learn a lot from looking at this website, but there's a caveat. And this is for you guys that are following my channel and apparently trying to copy what I do. Look, I'm totally cool with you copying what I do. That's why I'm doing this. I want people to learn from my experience and figure out how to do these things on their own. But a warning to you, you can't just copy the things I do and get amazing results. There is no one-size-fits-all solution for this stuff. You really need to think about it and understand your customers and what they want, what they're looking for, what they think about, what their biggest pain points are, you need to understand them really well and craft your website around them. You can't just go out and copy someone else and get amazing results. It hardly ever works. And if that's what you're trying to do, you're barking up the wrong tree. You're gonna struggle a lot more than you need to. So this is the kind of video where I'm gonna talk a lot, and you should probably listen to it a couple times if you're really trying to figure this stuff out. And don't just try to do exactly what I do. Think about what I'm saying and how it might apply to you and your business. So when I show you this website, don't think that you can just copy this thing exactly and get amazing results. You can certainly copy parts of it, but I would rather you get the ideas from me and then adapt them to your own situation and your own customers. All right, so let's take a look at this. So this company is a landscaping company. Please don't reach out to them or bother them. It's, that wouldn't be very cool, but you're more than welcome to learn from this. So I'm just going to go through the content and kind of explain why we do what we do, why we put these things where we put them. So first of all, let's point out the logo. It's clean, it's professional. You have to have a professional logo. Your logo goes on everything that has to do anything with your business. And think about how much money are you going to spend on things that you put your logo on in the next 20 years? Tens of thousands of dollars, surely. So don't try to get a logo for 50 bucks. Invest whatever you need to invest to get a logo that looks awesome. If you can get an awesome logo for 50 bucks, awesome. But don't just make something on Microsoft Word and run with it. It's not worth it. Okay, so we got the logo, we got a menu, just like every other website on the planet. You want that. You want your website to look like all the other ones as far as navigation and buttons and things like that goes. It might be cool to make something hip and new that no one's ever seen before, but if they've never seen it before, they're not going to know what to do with it. So it's good to follow common practices. Go look at 100 other websites. You'll see that they all do this kind of stuff. Got the get a quote button up there. Okay, so this is called the head. This is like the hero heading. The hero is the top section up here. This is the main heading. Full service landscaping company in blank, Virginia. We explain exactly what the company does and where they do it. That is critically important. If you don't have this on top of your website, people are going to be wondering if they're even in the right place. They're going to be distracted. They're going to be uneasy. They'll probably just click the back button up here and get the heck out of here and go find another website. So what you do and where you do it needs to be right at the top of the page. And we have this little request a callback form. This is like a pro tip. Not many people do this, but everybody has the big contact form, at the bottom of their site or on the contact page or whatever. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fields that someone has to fill in. This one at the top has 3 fields. That's less than half as much work someone has to do to make contact with this company. So we actually found that we get a lot more calls or a lot more contact forms when we include this really easy to fill out form up here at the top. There's also a phone number so someone could call if they want to. So pretty simple, but if you follow that advice, like, you're already ahead of the game. The next section is just a little bit about the company. Now, I said the company or the website is about the visitor, the customer. And even though this section is about the owner of this business, the language is expressing something to the customer. From a young age, I wanted to run my own business. My dream came true when I opened my lawn care business in my home country. I made a goal for myself to work hard, strive to be the best, and provide my customer with the best landscaping services possible. So it's a little story about the owner that lets the customer know that this person really cares about this. It was their dream to do this, and they strive to provide the best service possible. Little things like that can go a long way. And then it goes right back into why the person is here in the first place. So the person landed on this page. They verified that they're looking in the right place. They learned a little bit about the company, the owner, whatever. They feel good about it. Now it's right back into what they're looking for: landscaping services. And I want to point out that we talk about every single landscaping service that this company provides. All of them. If you don't talk about lawn care on your website, Google's not going to show you when somebody searches for lawn care, most likely. If there's no other landscaping company within 50 miles of you, then you'll probably still show up because Google's desperately looking for something to show the searcher. But if there's a bunch of companies in your area that do this stuff, you need to make your website content as relevant as you possibly can. So get out a piece of paper and list all of the services that you provide. If you do plumbing, what are all the plumbing jobs that you do? You do remodels, you do repipes, you do water heaters. List all those things out, and you want to have a section on your website about each one. I'm going to try to explain this simply. This is a 3-tiered intent approach to content marketing. That sounds super complicated, but this is what I mean. Let's say that somebody is looking for a retaining wall. They land on this site, they see hardscaping, maybe they're not completely sure what that is, but they see this wall and they're like, okay, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So they click on this button, and it takes them down to a section that explains more about what hardscaping is. And they see right here, okay, it does retaining walls, but I'm not totally sure. I think I want to read some more about this. I'm going to click on this button and actually go to a page that's all about this stuff. So here's retaining walls again. If I click on it now, I go to a section that explains all about retaining walls. So that was a 3-step. You started at let's see what happens if I go back. Nope. You started at the top here at hardscaping. That's step 1. You went to a section that elaborates on what hardscaping is, breaks it down into some categories. That's 2. You still want to learn more about it, you can click on this button and go to a whole page all about this stuff. So that's step 3. A lot of people won't need to get to step 3. Once they see it on step 1, they'll be like, okay, I'm in a hurry. Retaining wall, boom. I'm just going to click on get a quote and fill this out and be done with it. Other people will get to step 2 before they're ready to make contact. Some people will get to step 3. That's why we have different levels of content depending on what the person is looking for. And that's because we thought really hard about this, and we've worked with many landscaping companies, so we've gone through this process for years. We've spent 4 years marketing for landscaping companies. So we know what people do on these websites. We watch them. We have analytics tools that allow us to see what people are doing. And over the years, we figured out that this was a good approach for this type of service. I'm saying all this because I want to emphasize that you can't just copy everything you see online and get great results. That's all anybody ever does. They just look and see what someone else did, and then they try to copy it. But you don't realize that the person that you're copying just copied someone else, and they just copied someone else. And it's a long line of copycats, and there might not even be anybody in that line that actually thought through this stuff for themselves. So if you can sit down and think through this stuff for yourself and really make it as best as you can for your customer, you will be leagues ahead of your competition. Nobody does this stuff. That's why this guy was able to get 69 estimates in 22 days, because we made this website specifically for his customers in his area. Very, very important. So we've got all this content here, and maybe you're not a writer. Maybe you're not a big writer. You're not a content writer. That's okay. A lot of people aren't. The best way I've found to get this content produced is to record like an interview, or you can just record yourself explaining what this stuff is. So if you were a landscaper and I came up to you and I said, hey, tell me about hardscaping, record yourself explaining what that is. You can even explain yourself talking to actual customers, and you can either listen to your recordings and write that down and turn it into text, or you can pay somebody to do that. If you hire a writer, just for a couple $100, you can have them turn all of your speech into text and edit it and format it correctly. And that would be really good, because it'll be in your own voice. It will be exactly what you do, and maybe your personality will shine through it a little bit. Either way, it'll be a million times better than if you either skimp out and don't write more than one sentence, or if you don't have any words. We're going to get into this in the next video, but Google understands text a million times better than it understands pictures or videos. So loading your website up with text is important. You need to give Google enough to chew on so it knows what your website is about. If you don't have any text, Google is not going to understand what your site's about, and it's not going to show it to people that are searching. So that's one way to get content. We write content for most of our clients, but we start out by recording a Zoom call interview with them and asking them all the different questions about their business, having them explain in detail what they do, how they do it, what the process is. If I wanted to hire them tomorrow, what would I need to do? What would they need to know? We get all of that information so that we can turn it into really good website content. And for those of you out there who are marketers, that's the best strategy. You can't just write content for your customers without actually talking to them about this stuff. You need to price in a 1 to 3 hour Zoom call with your customers and have a detailed list of questions that you ask them, and just get them talking about this stuff. Get them telling stories about this stuff, and then turn that into the text content. Okay, let's talk about pictures to use. I mean, this one's kind of common sense. There's two types of businesses. There's visual businesses and there's non-visual businesses. If you are an immigration lawyer, then you don't likely have a ton of pictures of your work. So in that case, you'll want to use testimonials. Testimonials would be really good because it's visual evidence that you do what you say you do and you do a good job. If you can get video testimonials, that would be even better. I understand it could be difficult with the legal stuff, but you can't exactly show a bunch of pictures, so you have to get creative about what you show. But the point of pictures for a company like this, like landscaping, super visual. The point of having pictures is to illustrate what they do and prove that you do it well. Those are the two things, and also to kind of help people understand what the content is about. Hardscaping. Most people don't know what hardscaping is, but they know what a retaining wall or a block wall is. So they say, hardscaping, what's that? Oh, it must be a block wall. Okay, it has something to do with blocks and stuff, so it's probably patios and that kind of stuff too. Lawn care, obviously you're going to have pictures of lawn, snow removal, snow plows. Pretty common sense. Couple things about pictures. One, you don't want to put every picture you've ever taken in your life on your website. You want to have the least amount of pictures necessary to prove your point, and that's it. I've had some clients, and I've run into a lot of people that they'll post 1,000 pictures of every remodeling project they have, and most of them are just pictures of a job site that's got garbage and people smoking cigarettes and just all sorts of gross stuff that people don't care about. Unless you're trying to show people that, like, you don't need to include that stuff. Just have a few nice pictures of your work, and that's usually enough. Lastly, actually, no, there's two more things. Calls to action. So call us today, here's the phone number, or you can request a call back by filling out this form. You want to have these around your website, and you can even put them in strategic spots. So if you look, pretend you're a customer, you just land on this page, you are interested in some kind of landscaping service, but you want to know a little bit about this company first. You're looking for, if you've got this far, you probably found them on Google Maps, and so you might have seen some reviews there. And so now you're looking for any red flags. You're looking for reasons to not hire them. Or secondarily, you're looking for reasons to hire them. So okay, they do what I'm looking for, where I'm looking for it. Oh, here's a little bit about the company. They sound good. Here's the services they do. Awesome. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so here's some testimonials. So I'm going to read through a couple of these testimonials. And now I'm starting to feel pretty good about this company. I think I've probably seen enough. And that's why the next thing you see is a call to action. A call to action is a way for them to make contact, become a lead, and potentially a customer. So that's why this is here. It's here right after the testimonials, because this is the time where somebody's probably getting ready to make contact. So we make it as easy as we can for them. Easy is key. You want it to be as easy as possible to use, or people won't use it. Still not sure? They're still gonna scroll through. Okay, cool. They can keep seeing more services that they offer, all the different kinds of services. Oh, here's another call to action. Notice how it looks a little different. That's on purpose. That's to mix things up and catch their attention. If they saw the exact same thing again, their brain would instantly go into like mindless TV watching mode, and just you might lose them. You got to mix things up, keep them awake. Tons more about their services. You notice we did not skimp on content. Super important. That is why this company gets found a lot. And then if you make it to the bottom of the page, you see they've got 19 almost 5-star reviews. There's multiple ways to get a hold of them, and that's it. So lastly, let's talk about the pages that exist on this website. So you notice all these buttons up here lead to different pages, and we have a different page for each service, like each service category. Now this is kind of an advanced tip, but these are categories in Google Maps. So by having a page for each category in Google Maps, we are more likely to get our Google Maps listing to show up when people search. What is a Google Maps listing? A Google Maps listing is this thing up here. So you see when somebody searches on Google, sometimes the first thing they see is Google Maps. This is where most people find landscapers and other local service providers. So somebody clicks to your website from Google Maps, they end up coming here. And one way to help your Google Maps listing show up for all the different various keywords people will search for is by having a page for each one. So that's really important. An About Us page is important as well. That's statistically, when most people land on a website, they go to the About Us page first because they want to know who they're dealing with. That's one of the main reasons why they're here. They want to know who they're dealing with. They want to judge whether or not they feel like they can trust them, if they're qualified, all those types of things. So you need to have an About page. And your About page can't just, this one actually, this site doesn't even have an about page. It just has an about section. Your about page or section, it needs to have a picture of you. You can't, and it needs to talk about you. It can't just be like, oh, at our company we do landscaping. It's not going to work. You're going to get half as many people contacting you because they go to your about page or section to learn about you or the people behind your business, not more about how cool you are at landscaping. They can get that elsewhere. A lot of people like galleries. If you have a visual product or service, then you should probably have a gallery. A lot of people, especially in remodeling, I don't know how many people have told me that the reason they hired us or the reason they called us is because they looked through our website and looked through our gallery and they really liked our work. Super important to have a gallery in that situation. Home builders, same thing. You got to have home builders even more so. You need to have top of the line pictures. Your pictures need to be professional. Don't skimp out on pictures. And then lastly, a contact page. I personally hate contact pages, and you'll notice that every single page has a contact form at the bottom of it. That's because when someone scrolls all the way to the bottom of a page, they're either gonna leave or they're ready to make contact. So let's make it easy for them and have the contact form there. But since contact form pages have been around for so long, people just default to looking for the contact page. So we found that if we don't have a contact page, people are confused about how to contact us, even though there's forms all over the place. So just have a contact page. It's super easy. It doesn't have to be crazy. All right. So that's a brief overview of what goes on a website. And I really want to emphasize that you need to think through this for yourself and really make it for your customers. If you just copy what else is out there, you're just going to look like every other company, and people aren't going to know what's special about you or how you're any different than the next company, the next service provider or person. And so if you've been in business a while, then you know your customers better than anybody. And if you sell to them and you talk to them all the time, then you should know them really well. So what kind of things are they concerned about? What kind of questions do they ask? What kind of problems or pains do they feel that cause them to contact you and want you to come help them? Your website should be built around those things. What is the pain that gets somebody to call you? That should be front and center on all of your marketing, but especially your website. Questions that you get asked all the time, they should be answered on your site. And there's a lot more that your website can do. I'll leave you with this. This is my remodeling company's website. Let's see. If you fill out the contact form, which you can't right now because we're too busy. We're not taking any more clients. But if you go to this page, and there's usually a form here. I took it off because I don't want anyone to contact us. If you go to this page and you fill out the form, let's see. So if you fill out the form, it will, oops, wrong page. Okay, let's pretend there's a contact form here. You fill it out, you press submit, and then it will take you to another page. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I can't click on the right button. There we go. You submit the form, it takes you to a new page that has a calendar on it. And on this calendar, we let people choose a time. When we were taking appointments, we were only letting people choose a time that was over 30 days out. But this is like an advanced tip, but your website can do a lot more than bring in customers. It can become a part of your business that helps you run your business more efficiently, helps you save time, energy, money, manpower. by having this schedule a meeting page, first of all, someone already filled out the contact form, so we already have all their information. After that, people come here and they choose a time on our schedule, and we get to select exactly when we're available, which is only on Fridays and only 30 days out, and people can pick a time, put in their info, and it automatically goes on our calendar and on their calendar. And we don't have to do anything until it's time to go to their house and meet them. Sometimes we'll send them a text message like the day before and just confirm that they still want to meet because it was a month ago. But we haven't had anybody yet that wasn't ready to meet with us. So this saves us tons of time. Where we used to be taking calls in the field because we didn't have an office manager at the time. And we'd be writing down people's info on rafters and just doing all sorts of what's the word? Amateur stuff. It wasn't professional. But this is very professional and not only helps us, but it gives our customers an awesome experience. They came to our website. They found us on their own. They verified that we were who they wanted to work with. They submitted their information and they scheduled their in-home consultation meeting all within a 5-minute period, all on their own, and they're done. That's so much better than the normal procedure, which is they call, they leave a message, they get a call back later, maybe the next day. They try to find a time, they have to schedule it then they have to put it on their own calendar. It's a pain in the butt compared to this. This, they just put in their info, they pick a time, it goes on their calendar, it goes on our calendar, boom, done. They get to move on with their day. People love this stuff. So your website can do things like this. Here's another website of ours, or website that we manage. So this company's got a lot of employees, and they can come here and they can fill out this request a time or time off request form, and depending on which department they choose, the email notification will go to a different manager, let them know. It automatically populates a spreadsheet so they can see who's requesting time off when. You know, all this stuff has saved them many hours every single week from their management team so that they can spend their time working on other stuff. And it was really easy for us to implement. Now their website is helping them with their business on the back end. They also have an equipment repair and maintenance form. An employee can come here, tell them what equipment broke, what's going on with it, what the serial number is, upload a picture and all that stuff. And this goes to the maintenance manager and they can get a new tool ordered or fixed or whatever. And so this has helped help them run their company more efficiently, and their customers never even see this stuff. So that's a whole other side of websites that most people don't even ever think about. But in this day and age, everyone's got a cell phone, they have access to the internet. You can use tools like this to really help your business run better. So I hope that video was helpful for you. If you have questions, leave them in the comment section. You guys that are watching these and trying to apply this stuff to your own marketing business, don't hide in the shadows. I don't mind if you're learning from me and copying some of this stuff. Ask questions. I want you to do this stuff right. We don't need more marketers out there trying to copy things and not really understanding what they're doing and causing a bigger mess than is already out there. There's already 99% of marketers out there that don't know what the heck they're doing. So don't be one of those. Talk to me. I'll help you through. If you're a business owner, absolutely feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you like this kind of content. I put this stuff out all the time. I'll be finishing up this course soon, so there will be a full eight video series that can really teach you some of the fundamentals about what we do. And we knock the pants off of all of our competition, and we do it by getting the fundamentals right. We spend less on ads. I'm guarantee you my clients spend less on marketing than most of the other ones out there, and we just kick the crap out of them when it comes to this stuff. So learn from this. We also have a Facebook group. There's a link in the description. Come join us. There's like 20 or 30 people in there now. So it's growing, but it's still small enough that we can get to every single question, and sometimes I'll even record a video to answer questions. So, I like making these things. So it's kind of fun for me to do this, and at the same time I get to help, people like you. So anyways, I appreciate you watching this. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff, and I will see you on the next one.